All right, guys, we're live. All right, welcome to Graphic Novel Geeks. We're going to review some great books today. I've got some things really cool, so we can start it off. Who wants to go first?
All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for joining us. I got a few different comics that I've been reading lately that I've been enjoying. I want to share. I guess I'll start off. The first one is a title called "Don't Spit in the Wind,"
Oh, that's not
and
nice to do. Like fall back in your face.
this comic is published by Mad Cave Studios, and it is written and drawn by Stefano Cardoselli. And I came across it just with getting some ads in my Instagram feed. And I saw the artwork, thought that it looked pretty cool. They were doing advertising for the first issue, which I don't have handy, but I do have a picture of it. And I thought, well, that looks pretty cool, man. I'll check it out. So I asked my local comic shop, Treasure Islands Comics, to get me a copy. And I read it. And I was like, well, that's really cool. Had trouble getting a copy of number 2, but did eventually track one down. So it's set in like a future post-apocalyptic kind of world, maybe a little bit Mad Max. But the premise of it is that we've consumed so much different materials and items that there's a lot of trash on Earth, and there's just trash everywhere, and it has made it pretty much uninhabitable. So they have built up these buildings like mega complexes, kind of like Judge Dredd, where people live, so that way they're isolated from the trash. And then outside of that, there's guys that collect the trash, salvage the trash, try to make money from the trash, and that sort of thing. So that's the focus of our main character. He's a trash collector. And only on issue, I guess it's a 4-issue miniseries, but only number 2. I've only read up to number 2. I think 3 just came out. So I'm not entirely sure how the story is going to play out. There's some kind of other garbage collector that the guy's in love with. There's some kind of evil corporation that is trying to stop them. There's lots of shooting and burning and stuff like that. This is not an all ages comic. This is more for mature or adult readers because there's a lot of swearing, there's a lot of violence. And I'll say what I love about it. So the artwork is just amazing. It's very reminiscent to me of Jamie Hewlett, co-creator of Tank Girl, as well as like Simon Bisley, creator of Lobo, and maybe even a little Kevin O'Neill, co-creator of Martial Law, most famous for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But so the first issue, the first thing that I saw that I loved was this page. And there's like this cool little doll in the bottom corner and this cat that I just love. And it struck me as very Bisley. And I was like, that is awesome. And then I got to another page and there was this cute little lizard. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then and there are just critters all throughout the book. There are like these locust grasshoppers. And I mean, like, look at the detail on that. That is just so amazing. I was like, man, I got to get this book. This book is great. And, we opened up issue 2. Here it is. The dude's got a cat on his shoulder. I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to see, cats. And again, this page is just, to me, very, very Simon Bisley-esque, which I love Simon Bisley, and just really dig the art style. The story's solid, and there's just a lot of action going on. So really enjoying this story. What's that?
Can we talk about the coloring for a minute here? Because the colorist is doing a fantastic job on every page you've shown.
Yeah, they're just really, I mean, like, how many greens are on this page, right?
Green and yellow, which is next to each other on the color wheel, but also very desaturated here in the dark. Whereas
Yeah,
when you look on the outside scenes and like that orange is very bright, very saturated, very just sort of rich in color. Whereas this has
yeah.
gray and stuff to the yellows and the greens.
And there's just, a real good use of the full palette here. So it's not just like all orange or green or whatever. I mean, here's some pages with like, the evil corporate officers, but everything's very, very bright, very vivid. Yeah, there's not a lot of just, it doesn't look like the Batman movies where everything's just very gray and washed out. So here's a nice blue page with some locusts.
Yeah, again, with desaturated in the dark and all that, which is just like fantastic work, and someone who understands how light and color interact very well. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, here's their logo on the back cover.
Clear rules.
I like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So this comic's great. I think number 3 just came out. Number 4 is going to be maybe 2 months out. So it's going to be, probably October or November before the collection is available. But any fans of Tank Girl, Lobo, Simon Bisley, Kevin O'Neill, you're gonna love this comic. Check it out. It's been a lot of fun. So go Mad Cave Studios.
Oh, that's a good find. I like that.
Yeah. What you been reading, Dylan?
I went much more mainstream in my choices, but I think the book I'll talk about first, even though I'm an issue behind, which I'm still waiting for the shipment to come in because number 2 isn't here yet, but let me grab it, is possibly my favorite comic book character, Green Arrow by
Nope, snap.
it's everything I've been wanting in a Green Arrow book for a long time. And it's like, I'll be the first to admit I cried reading this because of a new character, which is an old character actually, that comes in, who actually was in a Catwoman story called by Chif Chang. I forget whoever did it, but she appeared in that first, and I don't think her identity was revealed, but Cheshire, the Cheshire cat right there, which
Yeah.
very cool because it's very awesome martial artist that Roy instantly recognizes as his lost daughter from the Cry for Justice thing. In fact, I'm just going to read verbatim this. You threw your first ninja star when you were 2 years old. I was so angry at your mother for teaching you, but I couldn't have been prouder. I don't know what you're talking about. You loved Halloween, but never had a sweet tooth, which is fine, as it left all the candy to me. It was really just an excuse for you to put on the costume. My daughter was 5 years old when she was taken from me. It was the worst day of my life. It's like, oh, God damn it, Josh Williamson. Oh. One, sorry.
Yeah, that's
It's like, oh,
that's slidable.
it is like, people talk about the Flash family, the Superman family. DC is known for its families of characters and all that.
All the time.
Yeah, the Flash family is great, but it's like Flash, the Green Arrow family is kind of the same. It's like we all shoot arrows and we're all like the best at it at what we do. Flashes all run fast and like that's about it. But it's like
I do more than that, but yeah.
But like the Green Arrow's like Speedy or Roy. It's like I have a lot of connection to that character because I understand like where he's coming from. It's like a lot of similar experiences, and it's just like to see him go from like getting slapped and kicked out for being a heroin addict by Ollie in one of his like worst moments of all times, thank you 70s, to where he is now is just like some of the best stuff I've ever seen. And it's like I really want issue 2, but it's like I don't know if they shipped it or were they supposed to ship it to you?
You never sent me a list of titles you wanted to get extra. You were mentioning like Wonder Woman, Tom King.
Well, yeah, but I thought we had a Green Arrow too. Oh no, we didn't. I got this at
Yeah. So send me a text afterwards. My June shipment's coming in a couple days, so he can pull it. If you get me the list today, he should be able to get pulled and sent to you.
I might have a couple of things to add to that. Like, so I'll probably have to send you like 30, 40 bucks. Okay, but yeah, it's like I've just been excited about it, and this wraparound cover, which is like, I'm hoping that they'll do as a poster sometime soon, which is like some of the best the enemies and all that, and a hint of what's to come with some of the Green Arrow family not in there, and for some reason Peacemaker being in the book. Although I guess he's working for Amanda Waller right now, so
wait, is Peacemaker is in the book?
He's on the cover.
I don't remember him being in that.
He's not in it yet. He's just one of the characters that's going to be in there.
Okay, they've been using him a lot lately, which
I
see. I see where he shows up. But yeah, oh man, speaking of that the newest Peacemaker series is over the top. That's a good series too. I don't have that right.
And one of the best depictions of Vigilante I've ever seen. I've always wanted to see the, like Teen Titans era costume, like with the weird sort of scuba mask, like eye slits and all that, like done justice on screen. And it's just like, and to make him this autistic weirdo was just so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't he a lawyer originally?
Peacemaker?
No, Vigilante. Who's in the Adrian.
I'm not too sure because they actually changed. Gosh, they did this series Vigilante Southland where they changed it. He's in that series. It's a black guy, not Adrian Chase, and the series didn't get completed. They put out 2 issues and then they stopped it, and then they put it together as a trade paperback. And so I got that and read it, and that was really cool, but I don't remember it because it was like 10 years ago. And that's the last I remember seeing of Vigilante. So let's see.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, the original 80s Vigilante, which they used him for the Peacemaker show, was a lawyer, and not some like weird autistic weirdo. But it's been years since I've read that series.
Yeah, who did that Vigilante Southland? Gary Phillips was the writer.
Not a name I'm familiar with, actually.
Yeah, he did. I think he's the one that wrote Bebop Barbarians with our pal that did the Flying Swordsman comics. Dale Berry.
Yeah.
Sorry. But back on Green Arrow. Okay, not to spoil it too much with issue 2 for you, Dylan, but Green Arrow has always been kind of this like socialist, liberal, hippie kind of dude, anti-establishment, anti-authoritarian, and of course, he's so he's like a Robin Hood, right? Stealing from the rich, given to a poor, fighting against the man, and he doesn't like those rich fat cats. Okay, and of course, I love cats. So here's a little preview of number 2. Oh, he has found himself fighting a fat cat.
What a Hawkman also?
Literally. It's a rich fat cat. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love Josh Williamson's writing so much. It's like,
oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, you'll see like from another one of my choices later on in this episode.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've never paid too much attention to the Josh Williamson name, right? When you were mentioning it for Superman, and you're like, oh yeah, he's great, I love him. And I was like, well, what else has this guy done? And you started naming off things, and I checked my catalog, and like all the things I liked. The Batman Superman, like I liked it when he was writing it, and then when they switched writers, I was like, this series stinks now, and I didn't know why. And then like Robin, like I don't normally collect Robin, but when he was writing it, I was like, I'm going to collect this series of Robin, right? And so I liked him enough that I kept reading his books, even though I never remembered his name. What's that?
That's where he brought Connor Hawk back too for his Green Arrow book that he finally got to do.
Yeah. But I've got to say one thing that I found weird. I guess these changes have happened in like the Lazarus Planet kind of stuff. And also, was it
Dark Crisis on
Dark Crisis? Yeah. I found it weird that like the relationship between Shado and Ollie, right? So now
Yeah.
Emiko, instead of being his daughter, because Ollie and Shado got together, Emiko is now Ollie's sister.
Yeah,
And
his
it's
former
like,
dad, from his dad. His dad
yeah,
and Shadow got together. Like that happened a long time ago though, before that happened like way back. Like I think there's some
yeah.
retcons when the Arrow TV show was on the air, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So they did it to incorporate elements from the TV show, because it's like, that really undoes Mike Grell, Longbow Hunter. It like just slashes it out of continuity
But it
completely.
also makes the age thing. It's like otherwise Ollie would be like a 60-year-old man at this point too. So it's like they had to do something to kind of keep the
Well, they could just, make Emiko a 12-year-old girl, or it could be even that Ollie had her very young and that she's 16, 18.
yeah, Robin's kind of the exception to the rule these days about child endangerment in comic books.
Ah, I see.
So they kind of have to keep them in that upper age limit so that they're not like a 12-year-old that should be on a school night, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Okay. Yeah. They have been doing a lot of new teenage characters, but you're right. They're all kind of like high schoolers, right?
Yeah, like upper and like the junior, senior level of high school and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typically. Except for the Vision's daughter, which like technically I think she's only like canonically like 2 years old, maybe.
The Vision's daughter?
Yeah,
Isn't she a robot though?
Yeah, the one that appeared in Tom King's Vision series.
Yeah, but she's a robot. So, but no, she's like a teenage girl.
She's a synthezoid.
What's that?
Synthezoid, as I think is they call the Vision.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
But
technically
she's
on the
dead
campus and all
anyways.
that.
Robot.
Right now, I don't remember. Like I said, I don't follow Marvel as much as I used to because
I think she's dead, but I think actually they recently brought her back because comic books.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure, the Green Arrow series has been very cool. It's been great seeing the Arrow family coming together.
Yeah, that's a really weird. It's like so weird seeing Ollie with this full like mountain man beard thing going on. It's just like I know he's been stuck on another world, but
yeah, I think it's weirder seeing, like, to me, Ollie was always kind of a lone wolf. I mean, sure, he had Roy Harper or whatever, but you always just think of him as like he just kind of goes out on his own and dispenses vigilante justice, right? I'm thinking like Mike Grell
I'll touch on that for one reason. Black Canary.
Yeah. Okay.
Black Canary's always been there.
Good point. But, just seeing him in a family dynamic is really, never really how I thought of him, so it's a little different.
I think they started fixing that like in the 90s with Connor.
Yeah.
And started playing around with that because Connor was much more socially adept than his dad was at times because he wasn't so prone to outburst and calling like, a fascist thug to like the Green Lantern.
Yeah, which is funny, right? Because Connor, growing up in a monastery, he was actually very socially dumb, right? He was very isolated and didn't really know how to interact with
canonically
people.
Asexual characters too.
Yeah, that's very true, and they've really been bringing that to the forefront with recent issues of like I think the short story in Pride.
Yeah, which was so there's that, and then there's because yeah, I guess they're trying to use that as a way to help explain Tim's sudden bisexuality, which was like people were complaining felt very forced and all that, which is like
I was very surprised.
and I just like sitting there going like, weren't he and Spoiler just dating like a month ago?
I know, right? And they tried addressing that in the Pride issue, right? And it's just like, okay, well, that happens. I know people that have been through that.
She's been kind of missing in action since he came out of the like as a bisexual.
Yeah, well, they had her in the Batgirls series, which
I never read that, which I should have.
Yeah, I read it for the first 6 issues, and it was okay. I liked the art, but the writing was a little bit lacking. I decided to drop it.
Because who was it? It was Barbara Stephanie and the Batgirl from No Man's Land.
Yeah, exactly. Cassandra Cain. They call her Orphan, is what they've been calling her lately.
Was she Flash before that or something?
What's that?
She had like the name Batlash, I think, between Orphan and Batgirl
Oh,
too.
yeah, I
The
don't.
cover art is fantastic, except for Stephanie's face makes her look like she's having like a seizure, like in the middle of jumping. It's like,
Yeah, and check out number 2. They picked up a car as like their third teammate or fourth teammate or something. Although, it's just I don't think the car had sentience or anything. They just decided
Oh.
it was part of the team, though.
no, that's awesome. Now, who's the artist on that, actually?
Let's see that. So it's written by Becky Cloonan, and the
Good writer.
artist is Jorge Corona. So
I've heard the name,
nobody.
but he's got a kind of angular style, but I like it.
Yeah, he does have a very angular style. It reminds me of the artist that did like Martian Manhunter, who is really cool. Let's see what Martian Manhunter. I don't have any of those issues in my catalog, but
It kind of reminds me of this is going to sound like a little bit out of place because it's not quite there, but it reminds me of Vaughn and Mark Baudet's style a little bit too.
oh yeah, the underground artists
Yeah,
or more underground.
Cobalt
Yeah.
60, Cheese Wizard, all the great stuff of like the stuff I read of my dad's, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that face though, like on Stephanie with that hairline, just was like, it's just I don't know.
But
That's also the way they drew her shoulders. She's like that in the air. So
yeah, but it's cool style. I liked it, but yeah, I did. I don't know. I've always been a little. I like Batman and the Bat family, but there's only so many books a month that I want to read about Batman and the
And
Bat
the
family.
Bat family right now is just
15 is too
huge.
many. 15 is too
15 is
many.
too many.
Although I heard Batman Inc. is actually really good right now, so it's like I'm kind of curious to check that one out.
Really? I only read number 1 of that and didn't continue just
I guess it
because
depends on how much you want to
too,
follow the Bat family too, because I mean it's like
yeah,
I
too
think at
many
last
Batman
counts there was
books.
like 45 members of the Bat family, was like the largest of any family out there right now.
Yeah, and like 2/3 of the book that DC puts out are Batman related, and it's just too many for me. So it's like for me, there's like Batman, Harley Quinn, and well, that about does it for me.
Nightwing.
Yeah, pass.
No,
I know you
not.
love Nightwing. You said it's been great, but still, I've never been much of a Nightwing fan.
Oh man, you missed it. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you go by the first of the Tom, what? Oh God, who wrote Injustice? All the Injustice stuff. Tom
Yeah,
Taylor.
I did
his
not like
first-
Injustice.
Oh, you probably didn't like the DC Zombies thing either.
Nope, hard pass.
Oh, what else did he write? Tom Taylor, that's his name.
Tom Taylor. Yeah.
Tom Taylor is really good at taking alternate DC stuff and just making this entirely valid world out of something as stupid as like, well, we're gonna have the DC comic guys fight in a game. Can you write a story around that? Yes. And it's like becomes one of the most epically like beautiful like stories that DC's ever written. It's like if you read the whole thing for you, Injustice 1 and 2.
Oh wow, check out that cover, man. I don't even remember that one.
Deceased, yeah, that's Dead Planet. Yeah, no, it's like Deceased is great. It really is. It's very dark, but it's not cynical. Like there's still hope in it, unlike the Marvel Zombies thing. Plus, Superman and Batman are dead through the whole thing. So basically, every time you see them, it's Tim and Damian, or it's Damian and John.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it says Tom Taylor did Earth 2. So that was a good series, but yeah, I don't have. He did Superman.
Earth 2 more James Robinson's baby originally.
What's that?
Earth 2 is more James Robinson's baby.
Yeah, it looks like with number 17, maybe he took it over later after James Robinson. And they did Superman, Son of Kal-El. Yeah, I wasn't big on that series. I only read some of them. So I don't know about Tom Taylor. He doesn't quite do it for me, I guess.
Let's see. What have you been reading, Joe?
I'll get to that, but looks like we got a question actually from Playmat. Do you recommend any specific Martian Manhunter comic series? I really love the character from the Justice League cartoon growing up, but never got a chance to get never got a chance to get to a comic book. So what we got for him?
I
Because I got nothing.
do. I do for sure. I don't have any comics in my catalog, but I believe it was the second volume of Martian Manhunter was my favorite. The artist, gosh, really hard to see. The artist is Tom Mandrake, and I just love Tom Mandrake. He's one of my very favorite artists. And he drew the second series of Martian Manhunter. So the first Martian Manhunter series came out in the 80s. It was a limited series. The second one that I'm talking about came out like in the late 90s.
Yeah.
So that was by Tom Mandrake. I don't know if there's a collection of it or not. And then
I think they're pretty available in the discount bins at conventions, though.
yeah, yeah, probably true. The third series came out around the third crisis in the early 2000s. That series was okay. I enjoyed it. It's called The Others Among Us, and that trade paperback should be available on Amazon. So that was a pretty solid series, and that kind of reinvented the character. And then 2015, this Martian Manhunter series came out. That was written by Rob Williams and drawn by Eddie Barrows. And that series, it started out pretty good and then kind of fizzled by the end. I'm not sure if that's collected or not, but
Also available in the same bins, I think, because I don't think it's sold very well at all.
Yeah. But I'd say if you're looking for an easy to find one, Martian Manhunter, The Others Among Us, that was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. You should be able to find it on Amazon. I don't know if it's in print that your local comic shop would have it or not. But yeah, pick that one up. That should do it for you. And
if it's like, if you're new to collecting, my suggestion for great Martian Manhunter stories to read, Justice League International, which has been collected into trades and all that, which really fleshed out the character originally.
absolutely.
And GLA by Morrison and then the Wade stuff following were all like just really built up that character to me and like who he is.
Yeah, and I've got to say there's been big differences in what his character's like, right? Like when DeMatteis and Giffen did him in Justice League International, since that whole series was very lighthearted and very goofy, Martian Manhunter was kind of, although he was the serious member of the team that was trying to keep them together, he was pretty goofy, right? With his love of Oreo cookies or Choco cookies.
And just the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold just picking on him like nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, the blue and the gold is like what that's what made me love those two characters, like for like what they were. It's like,
yes.
I mean, Jaime, no offense, it's like, I get they had to change it, but I still miss Ted Cord being the Blue Beetle. Ted Cord was such a great character.
Yeah, and I like recently they've been using both characters. So Ted's acting as Jaime's mentor. So I love that because it's hard to choose. For me, it's hard to choose which one's my favorite Blue Beetle.
For me, it's Ted also because his costume just looks great. That costume was fantastic.
I like Jaime's costume too, man. That scarab armor is really cool.
That was pretty radical.
Yeah. I have to read more of Jaime. It's like I didn't give him enough of a shot, and it's just like, but I know that's been collected into trades, like all of it. So it's like not hard to find. So,
all right, cool.
Add to my ever-growing list of thousands of trades to buy.
Well, hope we answered our viewers' question. If you need more info,
I got one more suggestion. Although it's out of continuity, but only because it's so good. Justice League: The New Frontier.
Yes, I haven't finished reading that, but yeah, that's a great collection from what I've read so far.
There's also the movie on Max, I think, is still there and all that, which is like not quite as great as the original, but it's like still a great sort of encapsulation of it. And Martian Manhunter plays a pretty big role in that one too.
Okay, yeah, New Frontier, Darwin Cook is a modern masterpiece. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you need more help on Martian Manhunter comics, feel free to shoot us an email, geeks@goblinscomics.com. That's GOBLYNS, goblinscomics.com.
I really like Jaime personally. That's what he said.
What'd he say?
I know he said, I really like Jaime personally.
Yeah, Jaime's great. Can't wait to see the movie.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
the movie's great. And I think Ted's going to be in it
Cool.
because there's like you see the original Blue Beetle uniform in the background of the preview.
Ah, nice.
I didn't even
Nice.
notice, actually.
Yeah, I don't watch previews. I like to go into it completely not having any idea what's going to happen.
Don't watch trailers at all, huh? No trailers.
No, no.
Okay. Hey, Joe,
All right,
what's up?
Yeah, back to you, Joe.
What else you got, Joe?
All right, so I'm actually going back rereading some things that were major influences to me. So first up, I went back to Yu Yu Hakusho, which is my favorite anime of all time, but it's been a while since I've actually read the manga because there are some differences. But specifically now, I'm around the Chapter Black arc, which is actually my favorite arc. That's volumes 14 through 17.
Nice.
And so since this is like clearly much later in the series, the general premise of the story itself, Yu Yu Hakusho, the main character, he's this teenager named Yusuke Urameshi. He's a delinquent, getting into trouble, like basically fighting other teen gangs, things like that. His mom is an alcoholic and not the most responsible parent. And then one day he surprises everybody when, he just kind of cuts class. And even after you see the principal trying to kind of talk to him, the principal, cares about him and trying to give him some guidance, but, Yusuke's not listening. And he happens to just leave for the day. And he decides to actually save this little boy. At first, his little boy, he's like playing with the ball. And then, Yusuke kind of humors him for a second, but then sees the kid like playing with the ball and it's getting dangerously close to the street. So he's like, kid, like, what are you doing? So he actually ends up saving this kid's life at the cost of his own. He gets hit by a car instead of the kid. And then so he dies. And then that's when the Grim Reaper shows up. This very cheery girl named Botan.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, right. Who explains to him that, yeah, we didn't expect you to actually do that because based on your track record, so we actually don't have a place for you. So we didn't think you would actually save somebody. And turns out the kid would have been okay. He just would have the car would have missed him narrowly. So Yusuke's like, wait, so I died for nothing? And then she's like, it's fine. She takes him to the the spirit world. He meets the son of the ruler of the spirit world, Koenma, and they say, hey, you can get your life back. So he goes through these ordeals and actually gets his life back and then becomes a spirit detective. So basically he's going around fighting supernatural forces and he's our first line of defense against, all the things that go bump in the night, basically. So a few storylines happen. The major one is a tournament arc like most anime and manga do. And though there's a lot more emotion behind it because that villain is very well written. And the villain of that tournament arc has ties to Yusuke's mentor. So eventually he does meet a psychic named Genkai who teaches him some of her techniques. He's basically her successor, but the main antagonist of the tournament arc has ties to her and all that kind of, goes full circle. So really good. But this arc in particular is after that. So that's some background. So at this point here, during the tournament, of course, he had a team. So at this point, Team Urameshi, it's him, his best friend Kuwabara, another delinquent teenager with supernatural abilities, and two demons, funny enough, who they look human, but originally they started off as antagonists, but then they eventually become allies. So they all had to work together to get through the tournament. Now they have a new threat because that initial threat was demonic in nature. Now the main antagonist of this storyline is actually a human who's actually ridiculously powerful. And you find out he was the previous spirit detective before Yusuke was.
Oh, snap.
Okay.
So Shinobu Sensui is his name. And so what happened was he was this child prodigy, he could sense supernatural things, he had all this power. He saw the world, black and white, right? Demons bad, humans good. There's no in between. And then one day, Koenma sent him on a mission that changed everything. He saw humans, rich humans, torturing demons and doing some really satanic stuff. So he kind of lost his mind, went crazy and killed everyone there and disappeared for a while, but now he's back. So now he's like, no, humans are the problem, and humans have to, we have to get rid of humanity. Like, no, humans need to die. So he's recruited some allies, other humans who have psychic abilities, and they're trying to create a tunnel to demon world so demons can come through and kill us all. So
Oh,
so Yusuke and his team have to deal with this, and it's different because these are human threats. In the past, they fought demons, right? So now it creates an interesting dynamic. Oh, can they take a human life? Will they be able to? And then, there's like so many shades of gray because you understand where most of these humans are coming from with their backstories, why they decided to switch sides. Though part of it was because Sensui is a great orator and kind of like, he's very persuasive and can kind of, pull you to his side. Also, he does have a VHS tape, shows how dated this is, right? It's the 90s. He does have a VHS tape that he stole from the spirit world that chronicles like all of humanity's worst atrocities. So he showed people that tape and that kind of convinced them too. Yeah. So yeah, he has allies. And yeah, Yusuke and company, they also have to deal with these opponents that aren't just physical. So at the tournament, they could kind of win based on their own strength, their energy attacks, their martial arts, different like, swords, etc. But these humans use way more creative techniques. So you just can't outright punch your way, to victory. So they have to get a little bit more creative with how they take these people out. And I guess maybe try not to kill them because they're humans. So, so no, I really like this storyline a lot. I was exposed to it in high school. I want to say my junior year. I got into Yu Yu Hakusho my sophomore year, but this storyline came out, well, for me anyways, I got to it junior year. And it was one of those stories that opened my mind a bit where I was like, oh, I saw some really dark stuff and saw some things that made you think. So basically made me question humanity overall. And I said, okay, yeah, this is some dark stuff. And it's very interesting. Main antagonist. He's actually up there with Magneto as my two favorite antagonists of all time.
Oh, wow.
So let me actually show you a picture of him.
Yeah, let's see some art from there.
Where's the picture of Simpson? Oh, well, that's kind of like a in-between kind of thing.
Oh, snap.
Okay.
So
Nice
yeah, no,
silhouette.
so now he's really tall, slick back hair, dresses in all black. And let me get to some other images here. Not this one. Volume 16. Yeah, it's 16. Oh, that's kind of a cool one. Like a little bit of a power up right there.
All right.
So he was actually able to, I guess, transcend, well, that's kind of a great psychotic image.
Let's
Very
go on.
Joker-esque right there.
Yeah.
So he was able to transcend the limits of being human. It's a technique he learns that normally takes a really long time, decades to learn. He's supposed to be in his 20s, but the whole reason he was able to learn it was because, so when he kind of went insane, in order to process all of his trauma, he developed DID. So he has legit multiple personalities. So between the personalities, dividing up the amount of time to learn this technique, yeah, he kind of had a cheat code. So yeah,
Okay.
So he kind of leveled up immensely. Let's see, where's another cool one?
You said so there's like a lot of team fighting. Are there some cool action scenes in there you can show us?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Ooh, actually like this. So this is actually when he's sitting there by the tunnel to Demon World that's actually opening up.
Nice.
So they do kind of fail, but I'm not going to spoil everything, but the tunnel does open a little bit.
All right. Ooh, some monsters. Nice.
Yeah. So that's a cool, actually.
All right. So you said that this it sounded like this kind of influenced you. You said that it really made you think about things, humanity. Did this influence you with Hellfire at all?
Oh, 100%.
100%. Right on.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, but yeah, no, the storyline, it's really good. again, don't want to give too much away because I do, people get to it at some point, enjoy it. But the gist of it, yeah, you have a new antagonist who's a human, and you understand why he's turned his back on humanity. And then the main characters have to deal with human threats, which is different for them because, like I said, they're not humans. So do we kill them? What do we do? We just can't punch our way to victory. So we have to use our brains a little bit better. But also it critiques, I guess, heaven to an extent too, because this guy had the job before Yusuke did. So Koenma, who's the son of the ruler of the spirit world, selected this guy, but this dude is Koenma's ultimate mistake, right? So he also stole the videotape from the spirit world. So that means the spirit world is knowing about all the stuff humanity's been doing anyways. So it really does make you question, heaven a bit too in the context of this world that's been established.
I'm wondering what kind of late fees he's going to have for not returning the video on time,
Yeah, it's like cursed VHS tape. But yeah, no, it's good stuff.
Cool. Did they do an anime of this series also?
Yes, they did.
And how does?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a good translation there.
Yeah, the anime actually helped the series. Like, I love the creator Yoshihiro Togashi. Like, I think he's a great writer and has a whole lot of creative ideas. He has unfortunately had some health problems. So that has affected his art at times. Like, the art it would fluctuate and not be the greatest. But the story was solid because he has another series called Hunter x Hunter, which is it's not completed yet, but that has a huge fan base. And you can kind of see some of the concepts he introduced specifically in this storyline with Sensui, were concepts he would later like flesh out in Hunter x Hunter. Like, you can kind of see the prototype because the Hunter x Hunter series, people can't just punch their way to victory. They have to, use their powers in creative ways. But you can see that that idea was marinating when he was doing this particular storyline. So,
Nice.
But no, the series, it is 112 episodes.
Wow.
And it is no filler. It is everything is solid. Yeah, it's a rare series where there's no actual filler. Everything is just compressed and tight. Great pacing.
Okay, cool. You check that out.
Yeah, it's good.
I was just watching this special like about why about because I'm trying to find more Japanese anime to watch and all that, which I was going to talk to you about later on, Joe, because I figured you'd be the person to talk to for like what I've liked and what I haven't liked. But about why Japanese media always has like people versus gods, and the killing of gods is part of their storylines and all that, which has a lot to do with like their religion and all that, and like how like most humans can ascend to godhood, in like their own way, which is just like it was like a really long sort of YouTube video, and I was just like fascinated the whole time watching it. But didn't lead me towards anything I wanted to read. But
I definitely have recommendations. We can talk later.
Okay.
I got a lot of anime too. Oh my god.
Cool.
I got what 70 gigabytes of my computer, something like that. More.
Cool. Well, what you been reading, Tetsuo?
Okay, so I recently read The Flash, Woman in War. This arc is really interesting. The Flash writing is really good, actually. This whole build-up is really good writing. The art's really good too. But like it says, it's like a war. It takes place in like 1 minute, right? Because he's gone. The camera's gone. Anyways, let's say it involves villains. They're called a faction. Right there, you see them right there. Now, if you notice this thing on their chest, it almost resembles like the circle of the Flash, the lightning bolt thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of indicates that they travel through the Speed Force and they can utilize it. So meaning,
but they're not one with it.
Yeah, they're not one with it. But meaning that like when they attack like the city, but it's like in super speed, so time is frozen. And the only ones that can like are aware of it are the Flash family, right? Because like, oh wait, this is like us when we go fast, huh? So literally, all this is taking place in like seconds.
Yeah,
and
1 minute.
Yeah, and they have like these guys are very clever with the way they are able to use their actually with the full speed force. You know, here's like they attack the city and then
Yeah. The
um,
ending of that story is
mass
awesome.
damage. But it's really cool because you know, see the whole Flash team work together again. You know, Wally's there with his two kids are back, you know, Jai and Ira, working as a team. And it has Ace in there, the Kid Flash, who was introduced in Flash
Rebirth.
Points.
Yeah.
Oh, was he in
Flash-
Flashpoint?
Was it Flashpoint or was it after Flashpoint?
I can't remember if it wasn't Flash. It maybe have been Flashpoint or right in Rebirth. I remember him from Rebirth, which was
Yeah.
like right after
Which
Flashpoint.
was also Josh Williamson.
Or I guess New
Ah,
52
yeah.
was after Flashpoint and then
Yeah.
Rebirth. But
Yeah.
anyways,
He's definitely written a lot better than he was before. You know, he was definitely stereotypical written in the beginning. Like
yeah,
he would talk like how people like the black people talk. You know, like yeah, son, punk, blah. And I was like, what the heck is this crap? Now he
so
talks like a
cringe.
normal person. So I like that.
That's cringe.
Although the ending of that story did confuse me in one regards, because is Max Mercury and Impulse off the table now?
yeah. It seemed like they kind of brought them on in. I was like, yeah, cool, they're back, and then they kind of put them back on the shelf. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they're just letting them sit for somebody else to use.
You know, it does
Maybe
seem
Jeff
like a lot of,
Johns. I don't know.
you know, the Flash family are like, besides the Flash and, you know, Kid Flash or Impulse, some of the characters are just like, here you go. All right, they're gone. Oh, here you go again. Oh, they're gone. Like
Well,
Max
it was
Mercury.
great seeing
Yeah.
Jesse
Well-
again, though. Jesse Quick has always been one of my favorite Flash
I love
members.
Jesse Quick. She's in this too. You know, so the whole Flash family's there.
Taking on her mom's
And-
identity too.
Speaking of Flash family,
Mm-hmm.
there is let's see if I can find a picture of it. Someone else has powers now. It's I'll say it's a spoiler because it's in the other issues. Let's see if it's in here. Picture. The second one. Before I get to there, though, the faction, you know, they enslave planets because they damage and destroy in less than a minute, you know, like in seconds. So they have a maniac who is under their control, who looks like the Batman that laughs, you know, the guy with the spiked face.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Murder right here. And look at that.
Yes.
She actually can process things by thoughts. So she can't see or hear, but she can like detect your thoughts really fast. Or detect your thoughts. Yeah. So if you have a thought, she knows where you are, what you're gonna do.
Although with her name, someone's an AFI fan.
Huh?
I noticed that someone was an AFI fan reading that.
Maybe. They're like, oh, Miss Murder, can I make this character? Okay, cool. But yeah, it's this really good family dynamic. The Flash families always have that, you know. I think it's always what I liked about them. But let me see if I can find that that one thing here. It's not this. It's probably this.
I know Linda has powers now too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Linda Park has powers.
Yeah. Well, so all right. So I think the newest issue of Flash is number 800, which
Yeah.
came out at the beginning of June. So we'll all be getting our copies in a week when my shipment shows up. But so not too. I don't know if this is spoiler or not. But so the two issues before that, 798 and 799. You know, Linda Park has been pregnant, right? We all know the next step of pregnancy is giving birth, right? So page 1 of issue 798, Linda Park gives birth. Congratulations, Wally and Linda, on their new baby,
Yeah.
Wade. So
Wait.
there is a new member of the Flash family now.
What's the
And-
baby's name?
What's that?
What's the baby's name?
Wade. Yeah.
Wade. Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, Matt, if you have not gotten 798 and 799, you're going to want to,
Right.
because guess who's back?
Oh, Omega Batman.
Yes, Omega Bam Man is back. Like
Ah, it's
the
hilarious.
character you thought you'd never see again, but you love him because he's like the greatest character in the last couple of years. He is back and he's as awesome as ever. So
Outfit right there.
yeah, 1 minute war was great, and man, Jeremy Adams is just killing it with the Flash. It's been one of my favorite series these last year
The
plus.
art's really good, but the writing
Yeah,
is definitely good. Like it's really hooked me. You know, the
yeah.
fact that they have Bart and Ace working together. You know, Bart's
Mhm.
annoying Ace, like annoys everybody basically. But they work as a team, and they also got Just a Quick back, so it's cool like that. I love Just a
Yeah.
Quick. And her outfit is way better, updated than her original outfit. The very skimpy outfit.
Yeah.
This is better.
She's gone through a lot of outfits.
Oh, they all have.
Yeah.
Let's not forget when Barry Allen first came back in was it before Flashpoint, I think. Wally West created outfits through a trick for the Speed Force. And like, we got new outfits. Bam! All of a sudden, new outfit.
It's basically red.
Made by the Speed Force. And it was like in a second. He's like, look what I made. New outfits. And it's like
New outfits.
Has anyone actually seen the Flash movie yet? Besides me?
No.
It's not terrible.
I thought Ezra Miller was a scumbag, but I didn't really follow what he did. But then when I heard how much money the Flash movie made, I was like,
yeah,
well, wait, why are people watching this? What did Ezra Miller do? Maybe it wasn't that bad. So I looked it up and oh my God, it's even worse than I thought. I can't believe that anybody is watching this movie. That guy is such a scumbag. There's no way I'm going to watch it ever.
Supergirl, because the actress playing Supergirl is great.
Yeah,
no, doing the best she can, and Keaton was fantastic.
Yeah, no, I hard pass. No way. I forget.
I had free
Ezra
passes,
Miller,
so it's like I figured why not.
Oh, before there's one on the show too. Shang-Chi in the Spider Island arc, the Billy Adams Kung Fu. This is where he teaches Spider-Man Kung Fu.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
That.
Yeah, and it involves the 8 immortal weapons. Those Asian characters he fights that are like, I guess, villains / anti-heroes, like the Bride of 9 Spiders. There,
yeah, she was cool. She has a great look.
Yeah, I love his look here. I wanted to cosplay it, but I never got around to it because it's just painting the dragon on the shirt. I got red blue pants already and a gold belt. I have one, so damn.
Do you have the,
I can make
the
outfit.
metal bracers though?
I just there looks more like
them.
cotton ties than a metal bracelet. But then I don't know.
I think you can pull it off though.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I do want to cosplay him. But yeah, this is a great series. Spider Island itself was super great, so I do recommend it if you look back to the Spider-Man series. There's like a whole main story, and it's like a really good writing. But I love Shang-Chi, so it's great tie-in. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, man, there were a couple other things I wanted to get to, but we're short on time, so I'll just kind of keep them real brief here. So the first one is Geiger, and I may have talked about this a little bit before, or at least the second series in this world, the Junkyard Joe. But so this is a post-apocalyptic kind of thing. It's a kind of a superhero meets a Walking Dead, except there aren't zombies. And so the premise is that there was some unknown event that caused basically like a nuclear holocaust, and that happened in like 2033 or something. They call it the Unknown War. And so then afterwards there's a lot of desolation, but Las Vegas seems to have kind of survived, and the casinos have turned into strongholds for different warlords. And so there's like the pirate Bonnie Ann it has like a casino, and then there's like another pirate Blackbeard has a casino, and then there's like this guy Jungle Bob or something, and he's got this like safari themed casino where ballers like pay money to hunt down humans. And so there's like 5 different like casino warlords, and the protagonist of this story is called the Glowing Man, and he managed to survive this like nuclear bomb or whatever, and he can walk around in the world without without hazmat gear, which is very weird. So here's the blurb from the back cover. Who is the Glowing Man? Meet Tarek Geiger, a survivor of the unknown war of 2030, when nuclear war ravaged the planet and tore his family away from him. It also made him a living nuclear reactor with a smoldering cauldron of radioactivity inside him. Now in 2050, Geiger has become an urban legend, a boogeyman bedtime story told to the children of a rebuilt Las Vegas, a twisted theme park version of what it once was, ruled by ruthless warlords. Vegas exists within a system of tunnels, keeping its inhabitants safe from the toxic soup of its surrounding atmosphere. If you play your cards right, you can have a better life. Outside its walls, Geiger just wants to be left alone while the mutated insect night crawlers and cannibalistic organ people stalk the landscape for their next victims. But when the warlords of Las Vegas draw Geiger into their power plays, the Glowing Man becomes an unwitting protector of 2 young orphans in a dangerous game of survival. And we soon discover the warlords aren't the only ones interested in eliminating Geiger. And so this is written by Jeff Johns, and it reminds us why we love Jeff Johns. I mean, Stars and Stripe, The Flash, Green Lantern, all the comics, JSA, all the comics he writes are so amazing. We forgive him for any movie adaptations that may have gone poorly, such as the Green Lantern movie. Sorry. But man, Jeff Johns is just an amazing writer. He's one of my favorites, and Geiger will be adapted into some kind of film movie type thing. Don't know when, but it has been opted. And so you're going to want to read this now. And then that way, when the movie comes out, you can tell all your friends, oh yeah, I've been reading that for 5 years. I've got... I picked them up back when they were still cheap.
So a great unknown war, man. That's in 7 years, 2030. Oh shit. Oh
yeah. The other comic I want to talk about is The Blue Flame by Christopher Cantwell. But I've got way too much to say about this series, given our time frame. So hopefully I can get back to this later. But it's kind of like okay, so it is a sci-fi superhero series, and as you could guess by the name Blue Flame, it's kind of a Green Lantern type thing. But this story, Christopher Cantwell, man, he is a great writer, and he really takes things to the next level because it's not just about superheroes. It's really about the hero going through a tragedy and how he copes with that tragedy, trying to, the pitfalls of alcoholism and sobriety, and then trying to defend humanity from an alien race that decides that maybe the earth should be destroyed, and questioning like what humanity is, and if you're a hero, does that mean that you always do heroic things all the time? And if you do heroic things all the time, does that make you a hero, right? So it's really questioning what good is and what it means to be good, and the varying degrees of that. So I will have to get to Blue Flame later in a future episode, but this is by Vault Comics, Christopher Cantwell, who I was like, who's Christopher Cantwell? Man, he's really good. What else has he done? Oh my goodness, he did the series of Iron Man that just recently wrapped up, which was just one of the most amazing comic series I read. There's a single issue there where I was like, man, this needs to get an Eisner Award. This is one of the best comics I've ever read.
And the Hellcat.
Yes, with Iron Man and Hellcat. I love Hellcat. That series was just amazing. Cantwell is such a good writer.
Frogman.
Yes. Right. And or Leapfrog Frogman. Yeah, you're like, what a lame character. And then you're just like, I love him. He's cool.
I love him doing Spider-Man stuff back in the 80s. It's like he's such a great dork.
Yes.
He was actually really well used in She-Hulk too.
Which She-Hulk series was that?
The TV series. He was in that.
I don't remember that, but I probably got very excited.
He's in episode 5, I think, or something like that. And he's like basically
It's the one with Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's episode 8.
Okay. Yeah, I probably got very excited because Christopher Cantwell using him in that series, but I think maybe he died. But it's comics, so what does death matter?
Yeah.
And unless your name's Uncle Ben. So.
And Iron Man's marrying Emma Frost now, so who knows what's going on.
I know, right?
Oh, that's political reasons.
Right, because that came out of just nowhere. It's not like they've been in love. Like, because when did that happen?
What, in the like Hellfire Gala like last year? It's like they met twice in continuity, which is the 2 Hellfire Galas.
Yeah, I passed on picking those
back
up.
in
But...
whatchamacallit, back during was it Civil War? When he went to the X Mansion and sitting there with Emma Frost trying to get the X-Men to like help the registration. And Emma was like, what? As in the mutants who dealt
The
with
only way
registration
that
back
I will
before?
accept this wedding is real is if they've been having like an affair in their minds for like the last couple of years, because Emma's known for that.
Well, I'm super disappointed. Cantwell's writing the Hellcat series, and so she's dealing with, they're keeping it kind of separate, but they are touching on her relationship with Iron Man. And like, I really wanted to see that get worked out and the complexity of trying to work out something like that. So hopefully, I'm hoping, sorry, Tony and Emma, but I'm hoping that they all get a divorce soon after, because Iron Man and Hellcat managed to work out their relationship.
Well, like X-Men weddings are known for like being like Kitty and Peter are gonna get married. Oh, nope, we're gonna leave each other at the altar. Okay, me and Rogue will get married. I think the only wedding that happened in like the X-Men that actually went through as planned was like the one for North Star. When he married his partner.
Oh yeah,
I was unaware of that one. But
like
Rogue,
that was the first gay wedding in comics, wasn't it?
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, with the yeah.
It wasn't an annual,
while
if I
back
remember
though.
correctly.
It's in an annual. Okay, I'll have to check that out. But Rogue and Gambit, so first off, since they're comics, of course, any big event, a supervillain needs to come and do something.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, we would be bored and we would not want to read these comics. But I mean, Rogue and Gambit are together. That seems like it's been going well, right?
Are they
Somehow they do it without the
What?
somehow they do it without the life sucking ability of Rogue.
I think she has a special suit or something. I don't know.
That would make more sense. Yeah.
Special watch thing that she can use to like control her power, or
that's
negate
right.
her power while she wears it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That makes sense.
A lot of Mon Cheries like in Gambit writing.
Yeah.
Way too many. I did have a couple of books I wanted to get to too, but I'll just go quickly through one of them and then just save one for later. The one I want to save for later is Danger Street, which has been so good, so well written for such mostly forgotten, terrible characters. But it's like I have too much to say about this to keep it to a short period, and so I will like to save that for later. But the art is fantastic and the writing is just top notch, especially if you know the first issue special characters, even a certain degree. Because I mean, this was written by Kirby, Simon, Grell, like all these like great writers that were writing like way above their pay grade for the 70s. But the series that I think is like my favorite series to actually read, Superman. right now. And I've heard Action Comics is just as good, so I got to catch up on that. But it's like, yes, that's the issue that I want to talk about.
I didn't read this issue yet. I got to read it tonight.
Can I spoil it?
Don't
Can I-
want any spoilers.
But one of the things that I like what Josh Williamson is doing with this, he's writing like 3-issue arcs, 2-issue arcs. He's not limiting himself to 6 issues at a time, like where it's like 2 storylines a year. So you get actually more turnover of stories. And Parasite, so tragic in this, and like,
Yeah,
but like Mercy running Supercorps because Lex Luthor left it to Superman.
right.
So Lex getting a Superman signal watch.
Right. Where's he going with all of this? There's a lot of interesting things. Very different things that he's
That's
doing.
weird.
Yeah. Lex Luthor
Yeah.
is a hero back before Superman showed up.
I mean, all right, but if I was Superman, I would totally want to chip Lex Luthor also. So why didn't he get a signal watch like back in the early 2000s? You know, that just makes sense. Now Superman always knows where Lex Luthor is.
That's the thing, though, is like he might not be able to, if he's on the other side of the world, he might not know that someone's trying to kill Luthor at, like, you know, in the prison. Or like, because it's like, you gotta realize it's like the villains that Luthor is like scared of are worse than he is. Like mad scientists.
Who's
and all that.
Luthor scared of?
Dr. Farm and like the other people in that mad scientist league.
Please. Luthor
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
thought-
scared of Dr. Farm.
But it's like one of my favorite villains of all time is Silver Banshee, which is in this one.
Yeah, I like Silver Banshee.
And
Oh,
it's-
okay.
But it's like it's like the cliffhanger on this one is so good, and it's just like, and it's giving Jimmy Olsen character and growth,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, did anyone here actually read the Jimmy Olsen series that came out like a few years ago?
No, you know, I read #1 and I kind of liked it, but didn't continue. And now I kind of regret that I didn't continue. I'll probably pick up the graphic novel at some point because
It's
I've
so
heard it's
good.
really good.
Was?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
Was
way
Matt
better than
Fraction.
it had any right to be. And
Was
I
that
think
after they
the-
made the Superman?
Superman's
or-
pal Jimmy Olsen, yeah, there was a limited series, which had some
like I
great
read-
art, and it's also it was basically Jimmy versus Luthor, the Luthor family, because I guess the 2 oldest families in Metropolis are Luthor and Olsen.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like I'm not gonna spoil the ending of 4 for Keith because it's so good.
Cool. Thank you.
And it's just like, I'm excited by what Williamson's doing for Superman, and it's like, I don't know. I think Action Comics is going to be the other one I have to pick up, because I guess that's where the Superman family stories are happening.
Okay. I haven't been reading Action. I've been picking them up, but unfortunately haven't, gotten around to reading those.
Well, I
Fell
guess
a bit
Power Girl's
behind.
had a lot of growth in that series as of late.
I'm not really very happy with what they're doing with Power Girl. The Amanda Connor, I can't remember if Jimmy Palmiotti was involved or not, but the Amanda Connor series I loved. And I'm not a fan of what they're doing with her currently. I'm not happy with those changes. So
I'm willing to give it some time to see how it plays out, to see.
yeah.
Because I mean, it's like, unfortunately, leaving her as Power Girl as was, it's like she's kind of a redundant character.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have an Earth 2 counterpart of Supergirl.
So I really liked the Power Girl Huntress series from a few years ago, the World's Finest one.
World's
That was
Finest.
really
Yeah,
good.
that was
yeah.
That was
pretty
way
decent.
better than it had any right being.
And they pretty much like made it that Helena was actually the same one from Earth 2, the daughter of Bruce Wayne. In
Yeah.
our
Mhm.
universe, was the same one as Helena Bertinelli, just changed her name.
I don't remember that.
I like that. That's cool. That's a good way to segue there.
Uh-huh.
Well, I hope they don't get rid of. I don't think they are, because the Helena Bertinelli character was like really kind of like one of the. I mean, I read the old reprints and stuff like that when I was a kid, like from All-Star Squadron and all that. So I grew up with Huntress as Helena Wayne. Yeah, Oh, I love that costume. It's like,
Yeah.
but the Helena Bertinelli one was like really well used in the Grayson series.
Yeah.
Where Dick Grayson, after Forever Evil, where Grayson became the super spy, which was written by Tom King, former CIA guy.
Oh, cool.
So, but yeah, no, she was good in that, and so I hope they don't get rid of her completely to like just do the Helena Wayne one.
I mean, it's the same person, so I would imagine that they should write.
Technically, no,
write
because
that
Helena
kind of
Bertinelli is the daughter of a mob bosses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
but then with that they wrote that this is the same person, but she just changed her name to Bertinelli when she came over to our universe. So it's the
yeah,
same character technically,
yeah. I mean
unless they
that's the
change
thing.
that.
They're retconning it into the same character, but from the comics history, they're they're
They're
two very
different.
distinct
Yeah, they're
characters.
definitely different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but whatever.
because it took
They'll do
Helena
some
forever.
Elseworlds.
The Helena Bertinelli version, it took like, and me reading it from her like appearances like in the 90s, it took almost 20 years for Batman to like grudgingly accept her as like, a family member, even in part because of the Birds of Prey and all that. But it's like, I mean, there was a lot of work done to that character to just throw it all away to do the
Yeah.
stuff with Helena Wayne only. So I'm hoping to both stick around somehow.
Yeah, how they
Yeah.
don't throw it away. They kind of just like give that part of her story, and she just kind of they build on that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess as long as the new stories that they're doing with her are good,
Yeah,
then I mean, the old ones are the old ones. If I want the old ones, I can go back and reread the old ones, right? It's just
yeah,
as long as the new stuff is good.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like she was. I think the last thing I remember currently for the Bertinelli version was in the Birds of Prey of Rebirth.
Oh,
Where she
was
really
that
well.
Bertinelli in there?
Yeah, she was a member of the Birds of Prey with Black Canary and Babs.
She's been a
Yeah.
member for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard with the Gail Simone series was so great that it's hard for people to compare to that afterwards. So
Yeah.
that series of Birds of Prey didn't quite do it for me, but a high standard to be measured against. So
Yeah. If now Gail would only write a new Secret Six series.
yeah, that was a great series.
Better than the Batman Who Laughs Secret Six thing, which ruined it all for me, where it was like the secretly infected people by the Batman. Oh God.
Oh yeah. I can't remember what Gail Simone is working on currently, but yeah.
I can tell you right now. Let's see. It's O&E, right?
What's that?
Yeah, it's O&E. Gail Simone, Wikipedia.
Plastic Man, Secret Six. Oh, she
7
just
days.
did the variants, but for Marvel, 5-issue Jessica
Yeah.
Jones miniseries. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
so that was reasonably good. I enjoyed that. Nothing quite worth writing home about, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, she started with Simpsons comics. Good Lord. Got all about that. Yeah.
So,
I guess
yeah.
she's been doing a lot of Red Sonja still too.
Oh, really?
Because she's really well known for working with that character. I think she's still doing that.
Yeah, I've never really followed her Red Sonja stuff, but yeah, Gail Simone's great. Always enjoy her work.
Oh, she's been writing My Little Pony for Friendship is Magic too.
Well, they need to do a crossover of Jim and My Little
Crossover.
Pony. Kelly
Birds of Prey.
Thompson and Gail Simone can co-write it.
Well, what was it? It was the Transformers My Little Pony thing is supposedly like way better than it has any right to be from what I've heard. And it's like, because I haven't read it yet.
Transformers and My Little. Okay, interesting. Is it like the Flash cartoon My Little Pony, the newer one, where they're like
Yeah.
Like they get drunk or whatever. Like,
Yeah, let me see.
Oh. All right. A small spoiler here. Yesterday, I go to Trader Joe's and I'm wearing my Cobra, like as in the G.I. Joe villains. I'm wearing my Cobra t-shirt. And the guy at the checkout is just like, oh, great shirt. And he's like, I don't know, maybe 20, 22. He's pretty young. And he's like, oh, hey, yeah, I love G.I. Joe and Transformers. Did you check out the Transformers movie? And I'm like, yeah, I never was really big on Transformers. And so he's like, okay, well, then are you all right if I give you a bit of a spoiler? So I hope all you guys are a bit of spoiler. I guess they're kind of setting it up to do a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. And he was like, what's that all about? I don't understand. Why would you like G.I. Joe and Transformers, like these two totally different things? Why would they cross over? And I'm like, dude, that's like a super big deal in the 80s. They're like both owned by Hasbro, and that's like the big thing that everybody loves, G.I. Joe and Transformers. And he's like, oh, okay, I never heard of that. And I was like, wow, that's weird that you never heard of that, because for my generation, that was like the biggest
Well, they're
thing
under the same
ever,
toy
right?
brand too, or at least they were for a long time.
What's that, Dylan?
They're under the same toy brand too, the same manufacturer for
Hasbro, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they were able to do that. Yeah, because they're both Hasbro things.
Yeah, that's what it was. Transformers, My Little Pony, Friendship in Disguise, and also the Magic of Cybertron.
The magic of Cybertron. Oh, Jesus.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. How can you resist?
You'll have to check it out and report back to us, Dylan.
I've never seen My Little Pony.
Yeah, me neither. There was that whole My Little Brony thing where everybody said it was really good and cool and worth watching, but I still couldn't bring myself to check it out.
Calling to me.
Yeah, still couldn't do it. I with Kelly Thompson, I've been inclined to check out her gym. And I mean, at least there's the Misfits, which are kind of punk rock or whatever.
Gym being written by notable trans writer Sophia Campbell now. Sophia Campbell, I think, has been working on that character.
Okay, yeah, I've never followed it, so I don't know who's currently doing it, but
her TMNT work was great. Sophia Campbell.
Oh yeah,
it was like really well done.
Nice.
So after the fall of I can talk about Turtles for hours, and we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I think we've gotten way past our hour mark on this episode, so we should probably try wrapping it up here.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else before our parting message?
Nah, I don't. Some chat. The playmat says they can confirm the Transformers and MLB crossover is good, better than it should be.
Nice. All right. Well, so our next episode, we're not sure of the exact date. So follow us on Instagram or join this conversation on Facebook, or check out our website, which is, go to goblinscomics.com, GOBLYNS, goblinscomics.com. And there's a link right there, Graphic Novel Geeks. That we'll get our schedule updated so you can find out when our next episode is. It will be in July, but Tatsuo and I have got a Kung Fu tournament. So we don't know exactly when in July it's going to be. We're also hoping to have special guests. So that needs to be confirmed as well. So, just check out our social media and stay updated with all the great announcements.
Oh,
yeah.
One thing, since you brought it up the other day, there is a new El Muerte who was a guest on our show. And
yes.
out on Amazon. So it's like, if you're interested in that, pick up the first volume, and maybe that one is like, I can recommend it highly. It's like, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, Casa del Diablo is out. I do not think that local comic shops really have access to this, but it is available on Amazon.
And probably directly to his store too.
Yeah, when I followed his link, I think he had a couple of different options, but I clicked the first one and that took me straight to Amazon. So I'm not sure if that's Javier's preferred method, but I don't know. I just clicked the first one and that's where it took me.
Okay. But yeah, like that, I definitely thought we should mention that since he's been a guest on our show, and that was a really good episode too.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Dylan.
Yeah. All right.
I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
All right,
yeah,
gentlemen.
we will see you guys next time. We'll let you know when that happens.
All right. See you guys later.